What's up, you guys? So I'm here with a new video today, and I'm here to bring you guys the next episode of Damn, I Miss This Deck with a personal favorite 2012 Macro Rabbit from YCS Tacoma, piloted by none other than Joe Giorlando. You guys should know the name if you guys played back then. He will go down in history as probably one of the best Macro Dino Rabbit players of all time. Also probably one of the best players to ever pick up a deck. He has multiple tops with this deck. He actually was one of the first players to bring Macro Rabbit into the scene of Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2012. He played it at, I believe it was YCS Philly, YCS Atlanta. He played this at Tacoma, and it became a trend for how Dino Rabbit picked up after Rabbit went to 2, Tour Guide went to 2, adding Macro Cosmos in to to fight off against Chaos Dragons, and to fight against YCS Tacoma was the first event where Mermails had just come out, so Macrocosmos was already just a fantastic card against that deck. And it's amazing to see. It's got to be at least, I would say now it's been 4 years easily since this deck was in existence. I can't believe it was 4 years ago that I was playing Rabbit, but it was because of decks like this that I really enjoyed playing the game. A very stunny deck. Love a deck with a lot of traps, a lot of protection, and what Logia and Dolka could do, especially back in 2012 with windups and Zectors, Chaos Dragons, Mermails, everything. You just felt very confident going in playing Rabbit. Rabbit was a really safe call as a deck. Very straightforward and just a great, just stun deck in general. So yeah, so I'm going to get into it and just if there's anything to explain, I'll explain it, but it's just fantastic to just talk about a deck back from 2012 and a deck that's actually very close to my heart because I just love Rabbit. Everyone knows my favorite card in the game is Rabbit, and that one of my favorite decks of all time is just Dino Rabbit in general. So we're going to get into it. So we start with the vanillas. You had to play 3 Sabersaurs and 3 Cobazols. It's what you brought out off of Rescue Rabbit, and you used it to make your Logia and Dolka. That was self-explanatory. Cobazols was OP just because it was Cobazols. It was the sneezing dinosaur. It had a big ass, 1500 defense. I know that sounds ridiculous, but back then it was crazy. You could set it, opponent could attack, you could lance their monster, they crash into Cobazols. Next turn you summon another Cobazols, then you make your Logia. I mean, it was just crazy. These guys by themselves were awesome. Of course, Sabersaurus was the superior vanilla, if you want to call it that, because it was 1900, could crash the Thunder King. Good card. 3 Jurek Guaiba. This card was like one of the MVPs and one of the most defining parts of the deck. It was a card that a lot of players, including myself, loved at one point, hated at another, put it back because of just how good it was. Its effect is if you destroyed an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon 1 Jurek monster with 1700 or less from your deck, but it cannot declare an attack. So basically, you go Guaiba, crash. That's why you ran 3 Lance. You'd run over stuff, bring out another Guaiba, main phase 2, make your Logia or Dolka. The fact that it was a dinosaur to meet the requirements for Logia and Dolka is why the card was so popular, and without a doubt, it became a staple in the deck. You had to play that card to properly play the deck at the time. A lot of people thought, including myself, that Thunder King was a better alternative, but Guaiba just overall ended up being the superior card, and it was something that I learned the hard way when I played with Guaiba versus not playing with Guaiba. And then, of course, the 2 bunnies, favorite card in the game. Hoppity hop away and, make the Logia and Dolka. 2 tour guides, the Sangan and the Night Assailant. It, was just the tour guide package at the time. This is before Sangan got the errata. Sangan could search out your Reapers, Night Assailant, tour guide, Rabbit, everything. So, just very, very awesome. Tour guide made the main play of, bringing back Rabbit when you banish it with Leviair. I mean, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, there's really neat explanation. Tour Guide was just, an amazing engine at the time. Even when it got hit to 2, it was still great. 2 copies of Spirit Reaper rounded out the monsters. Reaper was just really good during this time. It was hard for decks to get over because they would have to use effects to get over it. They'd have to crash into it, not be able to destroy it, and have to use an effect, and that's where you could get them with your traps or with pretty much everything else. So Reaper was just a really solid card. Plus, if you ever got the chance to actually attack directly, deal damage, and hit cards out of their hand, it was so crucial to hit cards out of your opponent's hand because when they lost, valuable resources, they were falling behind in the game. So it was great at the time. It was just a great defensive wall. So that's it for the monsters. There's only 17 monsters. For the spells, back then we had the holy trinity of Heavy Storm, 1 Dark Hole, and 1 Monster Reborn. Of course, Dark Hole is at 2 now. Heavy Storm and Reborn are banned. Heavy Storm, self-explanatory, really made it so that people didn't set everything unless they had a Starlight Road or whatever. So Heavy Storm was just really, just really great. Clear boards. Dark Hole, same thing, clear boards. Reborn is Reborn, bring back anything. And you wonder, why would he run it with macro? You don't always open macro. You get anything to the graveyard. Reborn was just good. And then he ran 2 Soul Takers. Soul Taker was because of the time it was it was the it card to play against Chaos Dragons because you would go Soul Taker on Light Pulsar Dragon, and then Soul Taker, they would gain 1,000 points, and it would cause the Light Pulsar's effect to miss timing, so Pulsar would just die, and that would be the end of it. It wouldn't get a dragon back from the grave, so their little loop of Pulsar Red MD was no longer a thing, so Soul Taker became an instant staple, and the secrets were just like they were so hard to get. Like, luckily I had commons from, I believe it was the Zombie Structure deck, but this card was just so hard to get. 2 Typhoons. Card was good, obviously against Mermails with their Abyss Sphere. Just good against, just 1-for-1 back row removal. Book of Moon, it was a staple at the time. Just, I don't even have to really explain it. Book was fantastic. Could prevent XYZs, really good in the mirror. Just very, very versatile card overall. And then 3 Lance. Lance was like the MVP. Joe even said like he would run 4 or 5 because the card was like a better MST. Could get you over problematic monsters. This and Guaiba was insane, obviously, because you just got over problematic monsters, brought out another brought out another Guaiba, made your Logia or Dolka. It was amazing. You just saved yourself from so many problematic cards. And then on to the traps. At the time, there were 2 bottomless, so it was double bottomless, double Starlight Road. Double Torrential Tribute. Very just standard removal. Bottomless was good, obviously against Chaos Dragons. Torrential was good, and you combo Torrential with Macro, pretty crazy. It just, added removal since Chaos Dragons became such a big deck. Banishing them is how you beat them. The 1 Starlight Road, it was protection. For Heavy Storm, any mass removal cards, you just Starlight Road them. And it was pretty much game whenever you resolved it, because the fact that they would go Heavy Storm by Starlight Road, that's pretty much their power play, and you just win because you have a Stardust and added protection on the field. So it was pretty crazy. You ran double Dimensional Prison, same thing, very good against Chaos Dragons, decent in the mirror. It sucked against Insectors, but it was good against everything else, so Dimensional Prison was really good. 1 Compulse, versatile card at the time, he added it in. And then the 2 macros is why, of course, we called it Macro Rabbit. Opening Logia Macro felt pretty good. You felt really strong, set a bunch of macro, have macro, Solemn Judgment, a Logia. You were in the zone. And then the Solemn Brigade, which was the Solemn Judgment, one of my favorite cards in the game, and 2 Warning. Pretty much just stop everything, and it was fantastic. So it was a 41 card deck. That should explain just like how it played. To the extra deck, Stardust for the Starlight Road, Utopia, generic 4 at the time, one of the best 4s we had. It was able to survive battle. It was big. 2 Logia, 2 Dolka. This is your Solemn Judgment. This is your Effect Negator. It was just nuts. Dolka was fantastic against Chaos Dragons. Logia was fantastic against everything else. You open Logia Macro against Water, they have a really hard time because they can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So it was awesome. One of my favorite cards, everyone knows the card that I was known for, Photon Pappy, Papilloperative. You guys already know. Detach, target 1 defense position monster, change it to face-up attack. They lose 600, kill Reapers with it. Just get over problematic cards. The Butterfly was amazing, always will be. Maystroke at the time was just a great Book of Moon monster that could survive. It 2300 defense was good. It's just a solid rank 4 you'd go into when you needed to buy time, and it was good in a lot of situations. 1 Cowboy. Cowboy had actually just been released. Put in defense mode, deal 800. Come on, it was just needed. He ran that was it for the 4s. He didn't run Dweller. He said in the profile that he ended up running a second Levier over Dweller, but as you guys have seen as the format, as formats progressed, Dweller ended up being a staple for the fact that, just really good against Mermail. But this was the first event where Mermail came out, so he decided to put the second Levier because you wanted the Tour Guide combo a lot more. In this deck. For the rank 3s, he ran a 1 Acid Golem, just big monster. Leviathan Dragon, big monster. Leviers for the combo. You guys don't know, summon Rabbit, banish. Next turn, Tour Guide, bring out your guy, make your Levier, bring back your Rabbit again. That's all she wrote most of those games. So you'd have games to go rescue Rabbit turn 1, Tour Guide turn 2, opponent would scoop. It was nuts. And then 1 Temtempo. Temtempo was really good. It came out at 2200. You were able to target 1 monster, 1 XYZ your opponent controlled, and take a material off it. That was really, really good in certain situations. It was a good way to kill Zen mains because Zen mains was really crazy at the time and probably one of the best rank 3s. And of course, he did run it himself, Zen main. So that rounds out the extra deck. Zen mains was just a very versatile card. It survived. Detach a material, pop a card at the end phase. Insane. So that was for the extra deck. And his side, I'll go over the side just briefly. He sided 1 copy of Gores, 1 Thunder King. Just generic. Gores was good, a good card in general. It was at 1 at the time. Thunder King, he wanted an extra card to side in when he sided out the Guaibas. Snowman Eater was for wind-ups. It was for the mirror match mostly. It was how you just killed Logia. Logia would attack, into Snowman Eater, kill it. Max C's, he didn't main him. He sided him basically for windups. Nobleman, a crossout, was for Geargia. Geargia had surfaced from YCS Providence from before, so it was a deck that people were watching out for. Nobleman was like the best counter to the Geargia armor. The third Mystical Space Typhoon, 2-level limit area Bs. That was for Chaos Dragons. It just, since they were all above level 4, they just stayed in defense mode. It bought you time. You could just run them over with your guys. Needle Sealing was his last card he had to the side deck. It was a card that he just used against windups. You guys know how good this card was. 2 Dust Tornado, generic removal, just really good in general. And the third macro for any decks that revolved around the graveyard, and of course at the time the new water deck. So yeah, 2012 Macro Rabbit, you guys. It's nostalgic to me. It is one of my favorite decks of all time, and if you play old formats, I highly suggest you play this. If you play it online or in real life, it is fantastic to play. Great stun deck. Anyone that was anti-meta, an anti-meta player, it was an anti-meta, quote-unquote, meta deck, because Rabbit ended up being one of the most popular anti-meta meta decks of all time, so it was crazy. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed shooting it for you, because I love Dino Rabbit to death. If you guys want to see a more earlier version of regular Rescue Rabbit, the deck, I'll also profile that, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you could smash the like button, 40, 50 plus likes would be awesome for more episodes. Thank you guys so much for the positive response to this new segment, this more updated version of back in the day. Just a lot more decks that we can actually showcase now and in different lights. It can be decks from a week ago with our new list in effect. It can just, the sky's the limit. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash that like button. Let me know any other decks you'd like to see. Please comment below what decks you'd like me to feature. If there's any specific player's deck you'd like me to feature, please let me know and I will research it and have it here on the series. Just expect a lot of content, you guys. I haven't decided what my regular upload schedule is going to be. I'm looking at 4 or 5 videos a week. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm just able to do this a lot more regularly and able to, with my new gear that I got, my microphone, my webcam, I'm able to do a lot more videos. So I'm glad, that's working out, and I hope you guys just really enjoy it. So just smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.